You see quite a lot of complicated fly patterns. I'm pretty guilty of that. However, there is easy flies to tie, and this thing I've been fishing for, oh god, 1990. 1, 2, 3, 3 decades. It's basically a light Brite fly, really simple to tie, and one that works really well at the back end where we are at the now. If you're watching this video, we're near the end of October. But yeah, a simple fly to tie. You can use round stick-on eyes if you want. I prefer these ones, they're easier to tie with and they're just as effective. So let's go ahead and tie, shall we? The hook is a size 8, 2 times long shank, quite long. If I can get wrong hook. I prefer a size 8, I prefer something with a bit of weight, a little bit more robust. So it's like a standard wet fly, but size 8. Tying thread, any you want. Light Cahill for me on this one. There's a few different colours: olive, copper gold, silver. My favourite is silver, because usually what happens when it comes to the back end, the water's gin clear. So we've got a little bit of tying thread in there. This gives you an idea of how long I've been tying for. Gary Little, if you're watching this, mate. Tries out in Australia now. Little's a Dunchurch shop. Anybody that used to go to Draycott would have fired in there. And this is Chickaboo. Great stuff. If I can get that a bit. So, bit of Chickaboo here. I'm just going to tie it in wherever, but I've got really loose wraps, and the reason for that is I will get the tail the length that I want it. That's about right there. I like this Chickaboo. I do little mini streamers, competition size ones. Looks like a mayfly nymph, but it works as a streamer. I use that as the tail and body. So I'm coming down to create my tail there. I had great success with this in the olden days fishing up in Manton on Rutland Water. It's done well for me in the nature reserve before it gets shut down in Grapham as well, but to be fair, when it gets shut down now, it gets shut too early. Back in the olden days, the waters, we used to get cold nights and the water would go cold. You could actually catch fish this time of year. The time of year when it was still open. It's shut now, but yeah, back then I can remember getting fry feeders 1st of September. Just shows you how things have changed. Good old Light Brite. And the one we were looking for, silver. So proper Light Brite's long straggly stuff. And you want to pull it out like hair. Didn't pull it in hanks, pull it out so it's like hair. If anybody's got any females in the household, or you've got long hair yourself, when you tie up a brush, you get an idea of what I mean by loose. You want it quite tight at the bottom, and then nice and loose up towards the end. Bear me a wee second. And he's back in the room. That was a Amazon delivery. And it was the guy that just happened to shout at the bottom of the road for parking and blocking the wrong bloody bit. Oh well, I'll teach him. Right then. Boy says to me, "You were the one shouting, yes?" "Yep, that was me. But I am okay to park here." That's my garbled accent. "No, you're not alright to park there, mate. You're literally blocking a junction." Good news, I got an apology. Right, pull some of this off here. So I've got a little bulk stack. I just want a little bit of head here. See what that's like. That's about right. So what I'll do now is I'm going to fix that in place because I'm going to go to town with a bit of Velcro. Pull it up first and then pull it down. And then what you've got to do is sweep everything back, like brushing it back. Like so. And then just strip all that away. So you've got the actual body of fly, but a tiny little bit here that I'll use again at the head because I'm going to kick a pair of eyes up here. See what I mean? That's him looking good. As you've had a few fish now, it looks even better. Right. So my mate up in Scotland made me these. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them selling these eyes. And I want to catch these in, so when I tie them in, they face up rather than touch that side. You'll see what I mean once I get them tied in. So they face up rather than along the body. So if I just tie them in at an angle, they're a bit sticky, so you can see I've got them there. Push them back. Because of the vinyl, they're a little bit slippy, so what you do is come in a little bit super glue and just stick that on the thread, and then just whip finish that. And they're not going anywhere. Okay. And then what you can do is just a little tiny touch let that settle. Any hairs out the way. And then just a little bit of Thin Man Gulf. And you can see just how good a little fly pattern that is. It's got a big fishing for miles, especially in clear water. It's an absolute pearl. And another thing I'll show you with this is, because I've got that thread underneath, when I stick the UV torch in it, you can see the glow in the thing. A great fly pattern. One that's really easy to tie, anybody can tie it, and one that's got a great success all the way through the winter time. Really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please be kind enough to subscribe. Take care and bye bye.